Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with your Eastern Idaho planning briefing as we head into Tuesday, June 16th. So 2 regimes we're going to be dealing with here over the next week or so. I've got you all color-coded here. So we kick off really cool, wet, rainy, snowy, dreary, moist pattern for today into most of Wednesday for most of you. Some high elevation snow. I'll show you the locations and snow levels here in just a moment. May see a few strong thunderstorms this afternoon in association with this pattern. We'll talk about that. Finally, as we get toward the end of the week and beyond, we'll break back into more of a summer pattern across the region with a warming and drying trend expected in your forecast. Taking a look at the satellite view this morning, 2 things to pick out. First, you might be able to notice a little bit of a counterclockwise swirl here with a low pressure system sitting just off the coast of Washington and Oregon, and this is on its way inland toward our region. You can also notice here a really nice band of precipitation showing up very well on the water vapor satellite loop early this morning. A lot of you waking up early are noticing it is raining just about everywhere across the Snake Plain and adjacent areas of our forecast area, and that'll continue here pushing off to the east over the course of the morning. Breaking it down by region here, we're really front-loaded on these impacts. You can see today and tomorrow under that wet, cool pattern is really where our focus is in terms of impacts on the weather front, and then trending down as we go toward the end of the week and weekend with that warming and drying trend. So today, wetting morning rains across the Snake Plain, eastern Magic Valley into the South Hills, the Southeast Highlands, the Eastern Highlands, the Upper Snake Highlands. Thunderstorms possible this afternoon after that steadier rain moves out of the area, and we'll see a chance of those hit and miss showers and thunderstorms everywhere across the region. You'll notice mountain snow possible here across the Eastern Highlands, the Lost River area, both today and tomorrow, with some minimal impacts expected. Also for the Sawtooth area, the Stanley area, and Lemhi County, we have you lit up as well. Going forward, we trend down slowly on our chances of showers and storms. Maybe a little breezy, may need a lake wind advisory for Wednesday for American Falls Reservoir here in the lower Snake Plain. Some rough chop possible out there on the reservoir if our forecast holds of breezy conditions from early morning right through a decent portion of the day. Maybe some frost on Thursday morning. This is really going to be dependent on cloud cover. If we can push those clouds out of here, we'll have a better chance of seeing some of that frost in our mountain ranges and down into the Snake Plain. Not really expecting anything terribly impactful, though, outside of that for Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So let's take a look at the picture. Let's take a look at the timing of all of this precipitation here over the next 48 hours. This is one of the many models we use, and as I always caution, take a look at the overall picture, the overall flavor it's giving you. It's not perfect in terms of which cities are going to be hit at a specific time, but I think this model this morning is really doing a pretty good job at showing the general trends that we're expecting across southeast Idaho. Kicking off at 5 a.m., radar showing widespread light to moderate rain across the eastern Magic Valley, the Snake Plain, some of the adjacent mountains. You can see that here depicted on the model. As we advance to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a.m., this area slowly moving off to the east, and by 9 or 10 a.m., it'll generally be east of Interstate 15. Maybe a hit or miss rain or snow shower here off to the west, but kind of a lull in activity for most of you. As we go to 11 a.m., noon, and 1 o'clock, what's left of that steadier band shifts off to the south and east, maybe still impacting Bear Lake a little bit, but generally moving into Wyoming. Our attention turns further west across the region here for a chance of some of those thunderstorms developing this afternoon. Heading to 2 o'clock, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. You can see a few of those thunderstorms. Can't rule out hit or miss showers or storms anywhere across southeast Idaho. Some of our models are kind of keying in here on the lower Snake Plain southward here into the highlands and down toward Bear Lake for maybe the best storms of the day. And a few of these could get on the strong side. I think a lot of it is going to depend on our cloud cover and instability. So if we can see breaks in that cloud cover and some sunshine, even with temperatures staying really cool today, if we can get some of that heating going and get a little bit of fuel for these storms, we'll have a better chance at seeing a few of these become strong, maybe some strong gusty winds, 40, 50 miles an hour, maybe some small hail in the stronger cores down that way. And again, hit or miss shower or storm possible everywhere across the region this afternoon. Kind of see that continuing here as we advance into the evening, and as we go toward 11 o'clock to midnight, a little more organized light shower activity possible down here in the south and east, the Bear Lake area and all the adjacent mountains. As we go into the overnight hours, watch up to the north. As we get to about 4 a.m., 5 a.m., we start to see another organized area of rain and snow, kind of a wraparound area as this low-pressure system tracks right across our region, some wraparound precipitation coming into the north. 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, rain and snow moving into the central mountains in the Montana border region. And over the course of the morning, that all kind of slips down to the south and east, eventually spills out into the Snake Plain by early afternoon. Gets a little more showery as the day goes on, kind of more of that hit and miss flavor of rain showers and thunderstorms again for the afternoon hours on Wednesday. And as we go into Wednesday evening here, finally we're shutting most of this activity down across the forecast area. So, amounts. This is over the next 48 hours, so today into Wednesday. First graphic here on the left showing QPF. So this is total rainfall and also the total amount of liquid in any snowfall that we're going to see. Amounts are a little bit low here in the eastern Magic Valley, Lincoln County, but for most of the forecast area, widespread amounts of about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch over the 48-hour period here today into Wednesday. So pretty good soaking precipitation for most areas. Not enough to really get us terribly concerned about flooding along the waterways, so that's good news, particularly with how cold temperatures are going to be. We're not going to see a lot of snow melt in the areas that still have a little bit of that higher elevation snowpack. So without that contribution and looking at these precip amounts, I think we're going to be okay in terms of flooding. Certainly see some rises on a few of our waterways. Of course, with those cooler temperatures, as we go over here to the right graphic, some snowfall. Some of that will translate into snowfall at the higher elevations. Looking down across the south and east here, even at the passes, I think we're generally going to be okay. Maybe a few flakes, but not really expecting travel impacts. Main area to watch is up here to the north, and I think the best window for this is going to be after midnight tonight, so early Wednesday morning into the mid to late morning hours Wednesday, where you saw that kind of secondary wraparound precipitation intruding into the area from the north. I think that's going to be our best window for accumulating snowfall. We'll see some flakes down to the higher elevation highways here. Most of the accumulations, though, generally expected above 7,000 feet or higher. So you can see some spots that are really lit up here for maybe even 6 inches or more. Again, this is going to be really high in elevation, generally above our higher elevation highways and passes, so not terribly impactful for most of you. Obviously, a caution for those who may be recreating in the higher elevations. I think Willow Creek Summit here along US 93 between Mackey and Chalice, best chance to see a couple inches of snow, maybe right on the highway, and then a little bit of slushiness possible too during this period across the rest of these passes from the central mountains up across even parts of Clark County and Fremont County here. We'll have to be on the alert for maybe some slushy travel conditions. For that reason, we do have a winter weather advisory in effect for these areas. You can see winter storm watch actually in effect further north as you go up into Montana and Lemhi County. Might see a little bit more accumulation and some impacts up there again from that second batch of precipitation. Here's those cool temperatures today. Nobody really getting out of the 50s for high temperatures across the region this afternoon. Wednesday, repeat performance, maybe even a little cooler, upper 40s to upper 50s across southeast Idaho. We finally start to clear this system out by Thursday morning. It's all going to depend on cloud cover. You can see our forecast here certainly supports maybe some frost in the upper Snake Plain, central Snake Plain, generally as you get outside of Pocatello, Idaho Falls, and then, of course, in some of our mountainous areas, again, dependent on cloud cover. Few lingering showers or an isolated thunderstorm possible Thursday afternoon here from the central mountains up along the Montana border, but generally drying out for most of you across southeast Idaho, and you can see temperatures starting to get up into the 60s and maybe even some low 70s creeping into the eastern Magic Valley. That warming and drying trend continues Friday with 70s spreading up the valley and in our lower elevations here across the southern highlands. Looking ahead here over the next 8 to 14 days, week 2 of the forecast, so to speak, not a really strong signal here on the precipitation front, but a very good signal for above average temperatures during this week 2 period. And we actually do have some 90s currently in the forecast for lower elevations as we get into early next week. So that's the general direction we're headed here over the next 7 to 14 days or so across southeast Idaho. That's it for your hazard briefing this morning. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to us here at the office using the information here on your screen. Everyone stay safe and have a great Tuesday.